Hello there. Welcome back to another episode of Star Wars in the Galaxy. Watching all Star Wars we can get our hands on. I'm Eli.
I'm Jacob.
And today we have another great episode of Star Wars in the Galaxy. We get to record in person once again. This is episode 141 of Star Wars in the Galaxy. Watching all the Star Wars we can get our hands on. Season 18, episode 5. Today we watched the 3 hour to the 3 hour and 45 minute mark of Jedi Survivor. We got a great segment to go into today involving a lot of puzzles and some other explorations on the moon of Jeddah. Jacob, do you want to take it away with what we got?
We start off, and as always, make sure we don't forget, shout out to the YouTube channel Gamers Little Playground. They made this amazing 6-hour-long cutscene montage, so when we talk about the timestamps, that is what we are referring to. You can find it on YouTube. Very good, very good resource for, very good resource for all the different Star Wars video game cutscenes. We really love that channel. But we start off meeting the Nautolan bounty hunter Kaj Vanda, who, after following Cal around discreetly, decides to introduce herself and say, "Hey, Cal, I'm also here for some peace and quiet. If you were to kill some bounty hunters and take some trinkets, doodads, knickknacks, gadgets off them, I'll make you a favorable trade." So Cal spends a lot of time this episode after that encounter, continuing his exploration of Kobo. He makes his way into the old Jedi temple, or the old Jedi research complex, finding more memories and echoes of Santari Kree's research into Kobo matter, the Void, getting to Tanalorr, all that good stuff. He makes his way all the way up to the top of this big high complex, where he fights Tag Luesh, a Bedlam raider who wields a lightsaber and handily defeats him before reconvening with, he reconvenes with Grease on the Mantis after seeing some more memories of Dagan Gera ripping through the Jedi in this old complex. And then they travel back to Jeddah before reuniting with Seer, Bode, Marin, and Eno Cordova in the Jedi archives that Seer is working on in Jeddah. They find out that they get word that the Empire is closing in on the Hidden Paths safe house, which is in, what was the name for it? The Pilgrim's Temple? I forget exactly. It's been a couple days since I watched this.
The Pilgrims, I know what you're talking about.
It's a great big Jedi temple.
Pilgrim Sanctuary, I think, is what it's called. Yeah, it's Pilgrim Sanctuary.
Yeah, so the Empire is closing in on Pilgrim Sanctuary, where the Hidden Path safe house, of course, where they're secretly giving shelter and helping move around Force sensitives and other people on the run from the Empire. So Cal and Marin have to make their way to the safe house to make sure that they evacuate safely from the Empire. Closes in on the safe house. He sees a giant Separatist Trident class, or previously used by the Separatists, big Trident class warship, the squid-looking one with the drill on it, drilling into the mountainside where the temple is. So he rushes in and finds what are they called? So we can cut this part out. The guys with the crazy hats and helmets.
Oh, the anchorites. The anchorites.
Yeah. He finds an anchorite.
Brother Armias.
He finds the anchorite Brother Armias, who gives his access codes to Cal to take care of them. And Cal and Marin, not Cal and Seer. Cal and Seer escape together, and we end on a literal cliffhanger with them taking fire from the Trident ship on a cliff. No idea what's going to happen next, because we'll talk about that next time.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, we got an action-packed sequence today. I forgot about this. Let's begin. Obviously, we want to begin with Cage, and I forgot that they don't include the entire Cage subplot in this.
They don't. I was not really familiar
with
Cage's story outside of this, so I was a little bit confused watching this.
So Cage, her subplot mostly is she puts you to higher and higher value targets across the galaxy. They get more difficult. At the end, you face 2 and sometimes even 3 bounty hunters at a time.
So it's part of the game that she's sending on side quests, essentially.
Yeah, but these side quests do have an interesting ending, which is basically she reveals at the end that she has an ulterior motive behind this. Basically,
okay.
Basically, she actually has a bounty on her head.
Okay.
She's
remember that.
wanted by quite a few people, and she is trying to drive a big bounty on Cal because the more bounties he kills, the higher his own bounty will become
Betrayal.
to distract from her own.
What a betrayal.
And Cal realizes this and they fight, and Cal obviously defeats her.
Yeah.
Does not kill her, but he defeats her. And he's about to figure out what to do with her now that he's defeated her.
Yeah.
When we hear some familiar jetpack spurs. And one of the bounty hunters who's been after Cage Vanda, a certain Boba Fett, comes in
Oh, dude, I completely.
and takes Cage as his bounty. Basically, Cal and Cage is basically like, "Hey, Cal, come and help me," and he's like, "No, why would I do that?" And then Boba and Cal have a little bit of a standoff where basically Boba's, "Look, I'm not going to do anything if you're not going to do anything. I don't want to fight you right now. That's not why I'm here. Let's just part ways and we'll pretend we never saw each other." And Cal's, "Yeah, I'm fine with that." That's how Cage factors into all of this. Cage's story leads to a great cameo from Boba Fett, voiced by, as always, by the great Tamawera Morrison. A great appearance in this game. Legitimately, I remember the first time I saw, because I didn't see this in the game for the first time, I saw this on like on a YouTube video, Boba Fett appearance in Jedi Survivor. And I thought legitimately, I'm like, oh, this is a really cool mod. Oh, it's cool they managed to edit in a Boba Fett appearance from Jedi Survivor. That's a cool mod that somebody must have created. And then I watched the video, I'm like, wait, I don't think that's a mod.
Yeah, wait a second.
Yeah, no, it's a fun little twist. It doesn't actually have anything to do with the actual
No
game.
bearing on the game whatsoever.
But on the other hand, give me a second. Look at how Boba looks in this game. He just looks so good. Look at this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like Boba Fett in the Jedi game graphics just looks phenomenal.
Got him down pat, man.
Yeah,
Got him down.
and we have this like the Spider-Man meme sort of with Boba Fett and Cage and Cal right here.
Oh yeah, the three-way standoff.
Yeah,
It's a cool subplot.
It doesn't have it didn't actually do with the main story, so that's why it's not featured in the cutscene montage. But I did want to mention it, just so people didn't think we were forgetting about it, because we're not. All right. So now that we've done that little side tangent, let's get on to these fucking puzzles.
Meat of the episode.
Let's get on to these fucking puzzles.
First off, I do want to say, I think it's absolutely hilarious that we get Cal complaining. Everyone's got rockets except
I wrote that down as well.
Oh, Cal, how will Cal ever survive?
I'm like, Cal, you're literally one of the most powerful force users in the universe. What? You want like mechanical shit that can fly? You could probably fly yourself with the fucking force.
Yeah, at least he's got a sense of humor, you know. That's a big step up from. I'm having a complete brain lapse right now. I'm forgetting. It's a big step up from a Jedi Fallen Order Cal, who, you know, is always one step away from freaking the fuck out. I mean,
I don't know. I think he had a sense of humor in the last game.
I don't know.
But
I just thought it was funny. I like that the game, and I like that Cal and everyone else in the game has a sense of humor.
Yeah,
things.
there's
fun.
Yeah, there's an awareness. There's a self-awareness, which I like.
Yeah.
So we have these puzzles, which you gotta fucking spray the Kobo matter on something, and oh yeah, that's something you unlock very early. You gotta lift the balls out of the things and put them in other things, and it's a whole mess. The laser beams, and then the Kobo matter. So we get introduced to one of BD1's two powers that he unlocks this game.
Oh yeah.
The first one, of course, is spraying Kobo matter the fuck everywhere.
Yeah. Which you spend about, if you're watching this particular YouTube video, about 15 minutes of this 45-minute segment are Cal just walking around spraying Kobo goop everywhere.
Yeah. I actually do really like it. I didn't think gaining an ability I had never thought of, BD ability. Like he had upgraded Scomp-like abilities. Like we were trying to think of Scomp-like in the last game, but that was really just how you could use various zipline stuff. Yeah. That wasn't actually learning anything new, but this is actually the first new BD thing. But no, BD just being able to spray that shit everywhere is it's so funny to me. But it's such an interesting because, of course, those laser beams are the only way to get it out of anywhere, to burn it, basically.
I do appreciate the fact that they've added like another way to interact, another way to do some of the puzzles and things that isn't just playing with the balls.
Yeah,
Because
no,
that
but
can get a bit.
yeah, but this
can get
we also play with balls a lot here as well. Like we also like orb, you gotta levitate to the thing, to the other thing, and you gotta fucking point the things at the Kobo matter to make them disappear, to use the air shafts to get up. Like it's a lot.
Yeah. Explain a video game poorly. Young guy plays with balls and talks to ghosts. That would be this game.
Yeah, that's pretty much. I talks to ghosts.
All the psychometry stuff.
Oh, that's true.
I just
Listens to
think it's not
ghosts.
talking to them.
Listens to ghosts.
Listens to ghosts.
Which sounds even worse.
Yeah, it does. Anyways,
But yeah, no, there's you do that. They finished the Gamers Little Playground player finished those damn things a lot quicker than I did, but that's mostly because they know what they're doing over there, and I definitely didn't the first time around. Right, even the second time around, I was like, okay, how do we do this again? But anyway,
Star Wars Walkthrough Survivor.
yeah. But then we get up to that grand courtyard, which I think it looks really cool.
We do.
The top that where we fight Tag Lesh.
Yeah,
I will say this. I think one of the most underrated things in this goddamn game is anytime you get to fight a Bedlam Raider with a lightsaber.
You think so?
I just love that. I never hear anybody else talk about that. I just think it's interesting because to the Bedlam Raiders, the lightsaber is a weapon.
Yeah.
Nothing else. It's not symbolic of any tradition or anything like that. It's just a weapon that they're using.
Yeah, just this cool little thing you found.
So they fight differently with it. And I like engaging them because they know they're engaging a Jedi, but they're like, I still can use a lightsaber though. I don't know. I think it's fun.
It's interesting. It's a sign of the times as well. You know, see Cal with everything that he's going through, but to have him on his journey, then see other people, like you pointed out, you know, using the lightsaber as, oh, look, I found a Jedi's lightsaber. I killed a Jedi and took it from him or something, and now it's my, you know, cool souvenir, and it's a nifty little thing. Obviously, Cal, you know, what did Obi-Wan say? Your lightsaber is your life.
This weapon is your life.
This weapon is your life. Yeah, you know, the Jedi really, you know, that's so much more. That's so symbolic, and it's interesting. It's interesting when you think about it that way. Think about what it's like for Cal to be a Jedi in a galaxy that pretty much, it must feel like the galaxy's already moved on from your existence.
Absolutely,
as a force in the universe, as a concept in the universe, even.
Yeah. No, this is how the genocide of the Jedi Order works.
Yeah.
But what was I gonna say? Yeah. Oh yeah. So here's the part. I don't know if you remember. This is the part where we see really the fall of Dagan Gera, because we see him killing other Jedi to get Tanalorr-related technology.
Yeah, this is when it becomes,
which I gotta say is a bit of an escalation, dude.
Yeah.
I know you're obsessed with this thing, but really, you're killing other Jedi? That's how crazy you are about this?
Yeah, I feel like having already played through this game once, maybe the significance of that moment was lost on me. But you're absolutely right that for Cal and for a first-time viewer, this is a major escalation.
Yeah.
Or is making people lose their minds.
Yeah, I really don't think it was Tanalorr.
Not literally Tanalorr,
yeah.
But the idea that it's just like, if we just do this one more thing, if we just go one step further, we'll create this paradise. You know?
I want to see the conversation afterwards. Like after, obviously, he's put in the back to tank. Yeah. I want to see the conversation between Kree and the Jedi Council afterwards. Okay, listen, guys. I know he killed some of our members, but on the other hand, this might be useful for us.
He didn't even kill them. One of the Jedi, I think his last words in the psychometry flashback were actually like, no, wait. They weren't even sabers drawn ready to fight him. He just mowed through them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I'm like, Kreese, guys, I know he killed some of our members, completely unprovoked.
But it's Tanalor, man.
But look, this is really cool, so maybe we just keep him alive. What did the Jedi exactly think would happen?
Maybe we just freeze him and
Maybe we just
let someone else deal with it.
maybe we just lock him away and hope he's never found again. While I send my droid to ask somebody to go find him again.
Low-key, that's actually a very Jedi, like, the course of Star Wars has built up this thing where a lot of times the Jedi go, maybe if we wait long enough, it will be someone else's problem.
Acolyte much. No spoilers. We're recording this after the first 2 episodes released. I have seen them. Jacob hasn't yet, but
I went to the special premiere.
The fan premiere, yes.
I didn't know that existed.
It only started with Ahsoka. Yeah. It started with Ahsoka and then got to Acolyte. Yeah, but yeah, it was a phenomenal time, and I've enjoyed watching both episodes now twice. They're both fantastic. Leslie Hudlin's a genius.
People cheer like they do for the movies.
I think people were more just like stunned at what they were watching.
Okay, fair enough.
People were mostly just annoyed because our projector had many problems.
Oh, bummer.
And it took us I watched our initial fight in the Acolyte that's been in all the trailers in that noodle shop between Carrie-Anne Moss's character and Amanda Stenberg's character. I watched that in the theaters like 4 times because they had to keep restarting it over and over again.
Oh man.
It was when I could actually watch it, it was very fun. I loved it. But yeah. You want to get to Jedha Trip 2?
Yeah.
Jedha Trip 2, which starts this episode and continues on into our next episode of.
I'm so happy whenever we go to Jedha in this game.
It's a great, the Kobo stuff is really interesting. Don't get me wrong. But Jedha, Kobo stuff is really interesting, but Jedha is the stuff I feel like is a lot more prescient in the galaxy, because it is directly about the fight against the Empire. Kobo is, we gotta get through these fantasy things and get the this to get the that to get to Tanalor to stop Dagan Gera, this guy from 200 years ago.
I feel like because of what happens there, and also because of the lore of Jedha and what it represents, I feel like Jedha is the heart and soul of this game. It's also the best designed planet, in my opinion. I find it the most fun to play and to look at in this game. Yeah,
I think it's very well designed. I think I vastly prefer Jedha in this to Jedha in Rogue One, but that's because I think for me, like the Jedha in Rogue One was like, okay, we're starting off on a desert planet.
Yeah.
Because that's what we do in Star Wars. And this, we are playing into the fact that it is 2 letters away from Jedi. And it is as I've described in previous episodes, it is a mecca for followers of the Force.
Yeah. I don't know if that's completely I see what you're saying. I don't know if that's a fair comparison, because compared to how much of Jedha we get in Rogue One, this is like Rogue One just scratches the surface. This goes all the way to the.
Yeah, I don't really get the
garlic. Goes all the way to the bottom with the subterranean aqueducts.
Which we'll get to.
Yeah, I mean, we reconvene with Seer, Bode, Marin, Eno.
Bode was with us on Kobo, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
But Seer, Cordova, and Marin, yeah.
Everyone's back. Everyone's back together.
Yeah.
Whole gang's here, pretty much.
And then Seer sends Cal and Marin after Armias, which this whole subplot, I gotta say, this whole subplot on Jedha about Armias and gathering the communication going and fighting the Empire that directly, it did not need to be in this story, but I'm so glad it was.
It was it was exciting and it was well executed. I think if it weren't for this, there wouldn't be much to talk about for this segment. Everything that happens before that feels inconsequential.
Yeah, it's mostly gameplay stuff and puzzle stuff, but this is very much this is our best look. I'd even say with Obi-Wan Kenobi, I'd say this is still our best look at what the Hidden Path actually does and how they maintain their internal operations.
Yeah, there's a lot of lore tidbits.
And I think
it's very fun. It's very fun.
Yeah.
I mean, getting to see I'm blanking on the name again, the religious order.
The Anchorites.
As well, getting to see the Anchorites as well. I'm not sure. Do we know why they're called that? I was a little unclear on the name. I'm not sure if
I don't know. They're just
I'm not sure if I missed something.
let's see. They're just generally. Oh, they're anchorite's another word for hermit in the Star Wars universe.
I see.
So yeah, so the father in Mortis calls himself an anchorite to Anakin in the Mortis arc. Yeah, so they're just these odd little hermits who deeply worship the Force and the Jedi Order, and they're just like doing everything they can to preserve the memory and the history of the Force and the Jedi, even when they're under assault by the Empire.
I think it's so cool that we get to see a story and a group of characters like that.
No, I think that they're very interesting. I wish we'd gotten a little bit more like this. Like we got a little bit into Armias. There's one called Sister something. What's her name? Sister something.
I mean, the fact that they're using brother and sister, it is very much a monastic order.
Yeah.
Just as the Jedi kind of.
Sister Task. Sister Task. I can't believe I pulled that out of my brain. Sister Task is her name. But yeah, no, I also have my notes, which we discussed last episode, but I gotta say this again.
Yeah.
Why the hell, like, why we didn't get a DLC seeing what Marin has been up to for these past few years is freaking beyond me. I would have loved, obviously, I think there's a line in here, somewhere in here, where Marin says, look, Cal, if I ran into any other Jedi, I would have contacted you.
Oh.
We know she hasn't run into any other Jedi on the way, but I'm thinking like other figures in the early rebellion and stuff like that, in the early resistance movements.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know how much I wanted Roken in this game. Maybe Bail. I actually think, like, again, this would have been difficult because Jedi Survivor was being developed alongside the show, but imagine Marin meeting Luthen.
Wow. Yeah, the possibilities.
Yeah,
look, we'll get something cool from Marin. There's no way we don't.
Yeah, I'm sure we do.
Marin's an awesome character.
But we have when they're going to rescue Armias on the journey. I don't know if you caught this. Marin and Cal talk a little bit about the holocron.
They do,
from Fallen Order, which I thought was interesting. I thought it's interesting that they went back to it.
Yeah, I'm not quite. Again, to me, this part didn't really feel like it had much consequence. I think that was a function of them catching up as well, but also acknowledging how crushing the Empire's weight is, where it felt like they really did something huge and monumental last time. And nevertheless, it feels like anywhere that there's resistance to the Empire, they're going to get sniffed out, and the Empire just moves in with unstoppable force and domination.
But I think it's interesting that going on to your point about like how the Empire seems to be everywhere at once.
Yeah,
it's like Nemec says in Andor, the Empire commits so many atrocities at once that it's difficult to keep track of them all. But it's one of the things where they have to realize, and I think Cal does realize this, no singular person can take down the Empire. No singular movement can take down the Empire. Yeah. By the time the Rebel Alliance forms, the groundwork has already been sufficiently laid for the Empire's defeat.
Yeah, the Rebel Alliance itself is like an amalgamation of a groundswell of different groups from across the galaxy that are fed up with the Empire for all sorts of different reasons. So I think I agree with you.
But even before, like the actions before they coalesced, and actions of people who died along the way, especially, or who did stuff way before I'm thinking about, what was I going to say? Like Cal is doing major things against the Empire. Yeah. Now, it's not enough to topple them, but it does matter still.
Yeah. It still loosens their grip. Loosens the Empire's grip that much. Helps some people. You're absolutely right. It's not. I didn't mean to suggest that it was an all or nothing game, but I think that.
No, I'm not saying you did.
Also serves to underscore Cal's own resilience and determination, and yet within that, the kind of you have this. What's the word I'm looking for? There's an opposition within him of the dichotomy of wanting to fight and believing that you can change and make a difference, and also on some level, sometimes sometimes it just feeling completely futile.
Yeah. Let's see.
Of course, sorry, I got ahead of myself in the minutes.
I was gonna say, so Cal is doing more of what I'm calling in this game Jedi Survivor Tomb Raider, where he's just like exploring the ruins of Jedi. It's really interesting. Like, exploring Pilgrim Sanctuary. It's really interesting to see people who are making their journeys, their pilgrimages to, again, what I'm going to call space Mecca for for different rites of passages. We meet, what's her name?
Pilly.
Pilly.
I
Yeah.
love Pilly.
Is that
She's so
during
nice.
this segment? Is Pilly
Yeah,
during this
Pilly.
segment?
Yeah,
Okay.
Pilly the botanist.
Yeah, no, she's fantastic. I do not remember. I don't think I actually got her back to Kobo in any of my playthroughs, so this was a new thing for me. But I really like that she's trying to find herself, and Cal, as he does with a lot of people in this game and the last game, shows her the way.
Yeah.
And it's just great to see. Um,
Yeah, it's cool that it's not. I think the dark times of the Empire sometimes can be portrayed as everything, like the Empire is everywhere and just shuts down everything. But clearly, that's not the case. And I like when we see some
Yeah.
lore complexity in the universe when we can see, oh, okay, there's still people coming to Jeddah, despite all of this.
Yeah, despite all of it, they're
There's
still coming. That's the power.
The great just variety and diversity of life in the Star Wars
Yeah.
universe in these stories. I find that to be really cool. I love that Marin is helping out with the hidden path as well. What a turn for her.
What I think is really interesting is that Marin introduced Seer to the hidden path.
Yeah.
I would have totally thought it would be the other way around.
Yeah, possibly.
Because like Seer had this whole operation going and all that kind of stuff. I would have thought, oh, she already was working in the hidden path, and then Marin stopped by and she's like, hey Seer, what's going on here? And Seer gets to explain to her, no, Seer had this entire operation, and then Marin goes, hey Seer, there's this organization who you might want to work with.
Yeah.
Which I think is interesting. Yeah. So because of that, I think that's actually that's why I put the note in there when I was watching this about Marin meeting certain rebellion figures, because it's plausible that she could have run into them on her travels. But yeah, no. Then we get to the fucking whistling drop, which I gotta tell you, when you have to platform with when you have to do platforming with the wind blowing, it's horrible. I hate it. Like for the brief moments you have to do it, they truly make it insufferable.
This is why I like to watch.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard the whistle that happened once Cal blocked it.
Was that in the cutscene or you?
Yes, yeah, it was.
I saw it.
I'm saying the sound that Cal heard after the. Give me a second. Let me play it for you. Does that remind you of anything?
It does sound strikingly similar. Now that you played them back to back, do you think that they sampled it, or was it a purposeful?
I don't know, but like it seems
to
it seems too coincidental not to be, at least if they didn't plan it that way. I'm sure somebody noticed that and like on the development team and was like, "Hey, are we sure we want it to sound like the THX intro?"
Yeah,
and then people are like, "Yeah, I actually think that."
I feel like it totally could have. It absolutely plausibly could have been a coincidence, but also, you're right. It also does sound strikingly.
Yeah, ridiculously slim. So
we can only speculate, but that is pretty cool.
Every time I like get to that point in the game, I like when Cal pulls it, but yeah, no. So we got that stuff. And then we have, I love this. We have the paths, the anchorites adopting old Jedi Force related teachings into their guide for pilgrims on Jeddah. Yeah. So they say, seek not the path, return to stillness, traveler, and the way reveals itself. Which to me reminds me of something else, actually. Oh, actually, here's what it was. Like that's written on an old piece of Jedi, of Jeddah, like pottery or something like that.
Yeah.
But I'm comparing it to what was written in the Path Safe House on Puzo in Part 3 of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Do you remember what that is?
You're gonna have to remind me.
Only when the eyes are closed can you truly see. See what? Leia asks. The way. And this is seek not the path, return to stillness, traveler, and the way reveals itself. So I think it's really interesting that the path is adapting old Jedi scripture, basically.
Yeah, it's a trend. Faith in the Force.
Yeah, and it's something that religious leaders from all across the world do. They adapt their own texts, whether that is from Christianity or Judaism or Islam or whatever religion it is, and they make it apply to. I like that being introduced into Star Wars because it feels very authentic to how religion works to a lot of people in the real world.
Yeah, I think it is an example. It's an example of one of the times when the Jedi do function as a religion almost, and Jedi is the clearest. People always refer to the Jedi sometimes as a religious order or a religious group, but I mean, this is really the time where you're like, okay, this is a religion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, maybe not necessarily the Jedi themselves in the path, that definitely at times it takes on a more spiritual tone with the path. But for the pilgrims, for the anchorites, it absolutely does seem like religion and spirituality.
Yeah.
Which is very cool because we don't often see that in Star Wars lore.
Yeah.
So much. And not at the forefront necessarily.
Yeah. I also there's another like small detail that I remember that I loved rediscovering from this game is the one new Imperial enemy they added this game. Do you remember what that is?
DT Sentry Droid?
The DT Sentry Droid, baby.
Yeah.
It looks so great, looks so accurate to Rebels.
Straight out of Thrawn's training.
Straight out of the Chimera.
Yeah.
Like it's a great adaptation, and I like how they implemented it. Like they are undeniably the hardest Imperial enemy, like the hardest Imperial regular enemy to face in this game.
Yeah,
without a doubt, harder than Purge Troopers, and especially because after you disarm them, I don't know if you know this, but like after you disarm them, they keep coming. You can like literally cut off their arms, and they will keep coming and try to attack you. You have to defeat them for good in order to be absolutely sure. But yeah, no, the DT Sentry Droids are fantastic, and I'm so glad they're in this game. Do you have anything else before we get to the flashback and the new in-game feature?
No, I think we should go on to it. We get an extended Jedi Fallen Order era flashback.
Yeah, which actually I think takes place around the time of the book Jedi Battle Scars, because it references something that happens in the book.
What's that?
One of the things that Seer says to Cal is, "What happened to Grease is not your fault," and Cal says something like, "Ever since Grease, blah blah blah." So here's what happened. From Jedi Battle Scars, I remember. So Cal and Seer and Marin and Grease were helping transport an Imperial deserter named Fret across the galaxy because she was fed up with the Empire, basically.
All right.
That brought the ire, of course, them doing anything against the Empire, but especially helping a deserter, brought the ire of this motherfucker. The fifth brother.
Of course.
Cal and Seer at one point in the book are dueling the fifth brother, and they get a little too arrogant, and the fifth brother temporarily defeats both of them and is able to cut off one of Grease's arms. So if you notice, he has a robotic arm in this game.
I noticed that, but it didn't occur to me.
Yeah,
it was just, Grease is back, and this is just showing that he's been living life and getting in some crazy hijinks.
No,
this actually has
Yeah, it has a canon explanation in Jedi Battle Scars by Sam Maggs, which I haven't read, but a good friend of the show, former guest on this season, Connor Chikiti has, and he loves the book. Yeah, no, fifth brother cuts off Grease's arm.
Okay.
So that's why Cal is so on edge, because he feels like he let this happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, a lot of the but we have that flashback, of course. That's as I started with the quote. What happened to Grease is not your fault, but ever since then you've been reckless. It's good to acknowledge your fear, but don't let it determine your path. Focus on the moment, choose your direction, and act with certainty. And trust that, whatever the odds, you'll pull through. Cal, trust yourself. It's a good reinforcement of a lot of the messages from Fallen Order, and I think some of the oldest themes in Star Wars as well. When you let fear control your actions, you will end up doing things or making decisions that you will regret. Obi-Wan in A New Hope. The best, let go of your conscious self and act on instinct.
Yeah.
Qui-Gon in Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
Feel, don't think. Force users, I think this is something I was just thinking about. Like, Force users suffer from quite a bit of analysis paralysis.
Yeah.
Where if they think too hard about what they're doing, it's Yoda. Try not, do or do not.
Absolutely.
If you start to think about it too much, you're gonna get overwhelmed. You're gonna get overwhelmed, and it's not gonna work. And what is this great lesson? This beautiful thematic lesson, all four, Jacob. What does Cal gain after that?
The dash, the mid-air dash.
Is it just me, or there is a gameplay ability that we gain at the end of this segment that for me is way more useful than the dash, and somehow, but it doesn't get an entire cutscene and lesson for Cal. It seems a little bit weird to be like to have this whole lesson and basically for it to be like, so now you can dash after you jump.
Yeah, I am a little torn about that. On the one hand, it does, I don't know. It feels like it cheapens that whole flashback a little bit, because I really did like the flashback. But this was one of the main cruxes of this segment that we watched for Cal. Seeing how it gives him so much determination to continue, just like I'm sorry, I totally forgot what I was gonna say. But I think just seeing how it gives him the determination to continue, the way that he has that whole conversation with Seer and he realizes that he's a leader. Seer says, like, they'll follow your lead, but you have to realize that you're doing what you're doing because you're a crazy off the wall Jedi. They can't necessarily. It's like the Anakin problem in the Clone Wars. Anakin goes where people around him can't necessarily follow.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then that kind of lesson is, that's part of Cal realizing, I need to step, I need to be a leader now when I'm with people. I need to be that much more conscientious about the people around me and how I make sure that not just that I'm accomplishing what I need to and accomplishing the mission, but making sure that my friends are okay, and making sure that the mission doesn't always come first to that degree that you end up with Grease getting hurt. Yeah. And then it goes to, you gained a dash. I don't know. It's kind of cool to introduce something. On the other hand, I think,
did it really need to be the dash?
Did it need to be the dash? It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, we'll get to the other gameplay feature after.
I appreciated the instinct that the Raiders of the game had to say, okay, we're going to have it be a lesson for the character that's bigger than just the gameplay.
Yeah, no, that's what they did last game with the flashbacks to his childhood, and that's what they do this game too right after Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah, but this one, I don't know.
Yeah.
It felt a little bit clumsy. It was an audacious one, but it felt a little bit clumsy maybe.
But, yeah, no, I can see that. And then we get to the Trident-class assault ships attack, which is just incredibly cool.
Oh, yeah.
There's just no other way of saying it. It's just incredibly cool.
Just the spectacle. This really epitomizes... Maybe not epitomizes because it's all so cool, but this is such a good example of why I just love Jedha so much in this game. For Jedha, all the planets, because this game is so beautifully generated and rendered out, and just the attention to detail, the aesthetics, the art direction is incredible on all the planets. But just on Jedha, just the sense of scale, the sense of grandeur, the sense of it really feels out of this world. On a galactic scale, all the old ruins, the massive mountains, the towering columns and canyons, and then on top of it all, the giant freaking Trident-class ship crashing in there. And that one, I know it's a little later, but that one moment when you jump right past the spinning drill, and it's pretty amazing. I agree with you. It's definitely super, super cool.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And yeah, it's just such a cool action sequence. And of course, we'll get into this more a little bit next time, but the gameplay just looks so fantastic. And the gameplay is just so fun to do. Yeah. I will say that they made Jedha a different type of desert planet.
Yeah.
That it's not hot all the time. That it is colder.
Yeah.
And also has subterranean water. I think that's interesting.
It's not quite the same.
Yeah.
At least in this particular season and locale where they're riding around Spaniels and hanging out and shooting stormtroopers.
Yeah.
It's nice that we can get away from just Star Wars really has a thing for the scorching desert,
Yeah.
But it's nice that we don't have to be stapled to that.
Sorry, I'm receiving something for right now. I'm here to announce the Oscar for the most annoying puzzle in Jedi Survivor.
Uh-oh.
And the Oscar goes to that stupid fucking door that you have to create on Jeddah. It took me way too long to do that. I swear that is the most annoying puzzle you have to do in this game. More than any of the weird orb stuff from the beginning of this, more than anything in this game, the thing I got most annoyed with is having to create a fucking door. You have to attach things, and then you have to drop them places, and know that it was very infuriating. I feel like I put down Jedi Survivor for a good day just because I'm like, I'm sick of having to figure out this puzzle. This puzzle is just so dumb. So yeah, that's my dose of rage about the puzzles for this game. But I had to get to this. But yeah, then they find Armias and get the codes, and then Armias dies maybe the most suddenly tragic death I've ever seen.
Yeah, just suddenly, just crushed out of nowhere.
Just shit falls on him, just because it does. It was oddly quick, but I respect it.
I mean, we could read into this and make this a whole commentary on, the depressing inevitability of the Empire, the sacrifices that you make when you stand up to it. But it was also refreshing to see a named character just of go out.
Yeah, and he just died.
Not be like a whole dramatic thing, not being like I'm dying to save you, I'm going to lock myself behind this door. It just happened, and that's real. Something real about that. It's like he died fighting for the cause that he believed in, and he died helping people, but not in this certain way. No, the thing literally just caved in. He was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
And when that bell tolls, he just has to stand and stay. What have I done enough?
Yeah.
Hamilton style.
Did I tell my story? Anyway.
Exactly.
And then the final thing I have for this episode is that last new gameplay feature, which is way better than the dash. Again, we didn't get a whole cutscene sequence for this thing, which is Baron's charm that she gives to Cal. It allows him to phase through the laser gates.
Yeah.
Do you understand how useful that is? It's still combining that with the grappling hook, the ascension cable, and later the fucking balloon things that Cal bounces on makes Jedi Survivor twice as interesting platforming wise as Fallen Order was. Like all those things together with the wall running, with the zip lines. There's one spoilers, but there's one. We'll get to this not next episode, but 2 episodes. There's a platforming sequence right after you defeat Ravis on the Shattered Moon that is absolutely fucking insane. I'll show it to you. It's just like insane. It's literally just from the observation tower back to where you were, and it is like a good 10 platforming elements, each different than the last, one after the other. It's just a great sequence of gameplay that just looks so cool. Do you have anything else about this sequence? 3 to 3:45 of Jedi Survivor.
If we're leaving out the cliffhanger ending, then I guess I'll just give my overall thoughts, which are that this segment, maybe not one of the absolute standout segments that we've gone through so far. I think this was more of just Cal's going to explore some shit, and
we're gonna dip back into Jedi Survivor Tomb Raider.
Yeah, and maybe within a function of the way that the cutscenes were cut in the video montage that we watched, but no matter. Maybe not the most complex or sophisticated segment, but it was not without emotional weight. I really enjoyed the flashback. I thought that seeing Cal and Marin do their thing together was really cool as well. Just the overall, this was a much less lessons are jumping out of the wall at you part of the game, but it did feel at the end of it, I was like, okay, I'm glad we did this, even though it felt like we slowed down quite a bit and didn't necessarily move as much forward as other ones. Just seeing the lore, seeing the last of the pilgrims, or what are they called again? I'm blanking on them.
Anchorites.
Yeah, seeing the Anchorites do their thing, seeing what the temple has become, meeting Pilla and seeing these examples of ways in which the Jedi is kind of unexpected and unusual ways in which the legacy of the Jedi lives on outside of the Force in a way. It's cool and it's interesting and I really like it. And it's thought provoking, even if it's not constantly heart pounding on the edge of your seat action. That being said, though, it was still definitely exciting and suspenseful once we get inside the Pilgrim Sanctuary. I loved watching Cal just desperately work his way through the temple as the Empire closed in all around him. But the star of the show here really was Jeddah and its lore and how beautifully designed it was in this game.
Yeah, I have very similar thoughts. This is a good build-up segment to what I think is going to be an explosive segment with a whole shit ton to talk about next time. But yeah, there was some really great stuff here. Great lore and world building development on Jeddah. Great new gameplay features, especially in this segment, and great introduction of that subplot with Cage, even though we don't get to it in this episode or in this playthrough. I think that's going to be it for this episode of Star Wars in the Galaxy. Next week, Jacob and I are joined once again by our good friend of the show, Devor Mondum from A Large View of the Force. He is going to see if he can one-up his own wife's record of being on the show too many times to count.
Yeah.
But we're excited to have him back on. He wanted to talk Survivor with us, so he's going to talk Survivor with us. He's a Devor. He loves his battle droids, so we gave him the segment in which we explore our Clash to Lucre Hulk, like battleship, basically. And I'm very excited about that. In the meantime, you can follow us everywhere at In a Galaxy Pod. You can listen to us on all podcasting platforms. You can follow me at my Linktree, linktr.e/_OGFan327. That's where you can find all my stuff. Subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss any In a Galaxy videos or uploads or streams or any of that for Epic Confrontations, our spin-off trivia show. I think if that's it, all I have left to say is may the Force be with you.
Always.
Always.